Hi everyone, it's Sunday, November 14th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. So this week saw more of the same in the US and Europe, but in Brazil there were price declines after last week's steadiness. But let's start with Europe, where Andrea Guolo tells us that the recent price declines have stimulated sales, at least for some types of hides and skins. Looking at the UK, the British 36 Plus dropped below the £1 per kilo threshold because sellers had to grant discounts to get any business done. Irish selections were also down sharply again, with the reference price at 90 cents in euros, but sales were rumored even lower. With regard to bulls in Europe, the big tanneries were the only ones buying last week because business for automotive is still stunted. Southern German selections are now selling for €1.40 to €1.50 per kilo. European cows also saw prices drop and sales increase across the board. The veal sector was stable this week, and that was mainly with regard to the high-end selections because it's not the same for the medium quality skins. In his analysis, Andrea looks at the situation with prices and purchases by tanneries as well as traders. And looking at the U.S. market, it does not appear that it was a super busy week for sellers, certainly not as busy as the previous one, and prices were mixed this week. It also doesn't look like the market has settled on a bottom just yet. Heavy Texas steers managed to stay steady, although some sales were $1 down. Seasonal weights sold at $31 and $32 throughout the period. And in general, other steers were weakly steady, although there was an uptick in interest for butts and natives, but that wasn't the case for all sellers, and prices were mixed on those selections too. Looking at the cow sector, it is still steady, and sellers say they are in decent positions and not pressed to sell for at least a little while. Combined export sales for the week ending November 4th were a stunning 725,100, and that's up by over 30% from last week. But most say that likely includes some late reporting because no one reported stellar sales last week. Looking at combined shipments, they were down this time by 15%, and they totaled 456,000. Slaughter for the week through Saturday, November 13th was incrementally lower at 655,000. Turning to South America, editor Ronald Guiel says that raw material prices dropped this week by 8 cents to sell at $3.89 per kilo. TR1 also eased this week to sell at $1.03 per square foot. That's 2 cents lower. However, we're still hearing about some volume deals at lower prices. In Argentina, the raw material market remains steady. In other news from Brazil, the country's hide exports were up 61.5% in value over 2020 in October. And the footwear exports were also up, and in fact, they've recovered to their 2019 levels. From elsewhere in Latin America, Puma Argentina has upped its capacity to produce 2.5 million shoes a year. Chile's leather production was up by nearly 8% in 2021. Footwear prices slowed down in Chile, and in Uruguay, the Bader plant received the UN's National Circular Economy Award. So that's all we have for tonight, and until next week, good night from HideNet.